What's up guys, Tino here. Amazon Web Services, otherwise known as AWS, is a very big company, and what they do is provide computing infrastructure and web services. Now, there's a chance you might not be familiar with what that is, so I'm going to break it down real quick. Don't worry, I'm not going to go all techie on you, but if you do know what AWS is and what these guys do, then just skip to this timestamp here as I explain. So, let's say you've developed an application and let's call it Quarantinda, and you want to make this Quarantinda available to the public. What you'd normally do is purchase a computer to run the application, and then also purchase storage servers, hard drives, all that stuff to store your images, passwords, you know, all that kind of stuff. You have to purchase all that infrastructure. You are going to have to maintain it, make sure it's up and running 24/7, and if something breaks, you're going to have to fix it. If somebody hacks your system, you're going to have to fix it. This approach has many problems. Not only is it very expensive to buy and maintain all that equipment, but you're spending a lot more time running your applications instead of actually working on your own application, you know, developing more features, you know, all that kind of stuff. This is where AWS comes in now. Instead of you purchasing all that equipment and having to maintain it yourself, do backups, you know, all those things, you can just rent and pay Amazon to do it for you. You know, think of it like Uber for computing infrastructure, but like not exactly, because AWS owns that infrastructure, unlike Uber, which doesn't really own any cars. AWS is only going to charge you for the amount of time you're actually using their services. So if you use it for 10 seconds a day, they'll charge you for 10 seconds a day, which is pretty cool. This is a very simplified model of how AWS works. It's a bit more complicated than that. I mean, we haven't even discussed web services, for example. Now, AWS is very big. In fact, they're the biggest company in what they do, taking up a market share of about 50%. In the last quarter of 2019, they had a revenue of almost 10 billion US dollars. That's a lot of money. Because of how good, popular, and most importantly, cheap they are, everyone wants to use AWS, and plenty of companies already make use of AWS. You know Netflix? Okay, of course you know Netflix. They use AWS. Now, AWS divides its infrastructure into what they call regions around the world. And Africa is the only continent without a region. That's nothing new. However, that's going to change very soon. In a few months or weeks or days, because they did say the first half of 2020, AWS is opening a new region in Cape Town, South Africa. And here's why that's a big deal. Cheap cloud computing. AWS is very cheap when you compare it to its competitors, and it's even a lot cheaper when you compare it to African-based cloud computing companies. AWS opening a region in Cape Town means that African businesses are going to have closer relationships with AWS, which means that lower running costs, higher profits, and of course, better performance for their own services. Jobs. AWS already has a massive presence in South Africa, employing thousands of people. Now, with the new region coming to SA, that means that they're going to need people to work at those data centers and other supporting roles. Not only are there going to be more jobs from Amazon themselves when they open a region in South Africa, but as more and more companies move their infrastructure to the cloud, the demand for cloud engineers has also been increasing, because you need such people to help you with the migration to the cloud. If you're in tech and this is news to you, yeah, that's something you might want to look into. Better performance for some application. Like I said earlier on, lots of companies, very big companies, use AWS. Now, users of those companies that are located in Africa have to make use of servers that are in Europe, and that's a problem. Here's a dumb example to illustrate where the problem is. Let's say I'm gaming and I'm using a server in Europe. The average latency for most games and most servers is about 200 milliseconds. Now, if I shoot somebody, that bullet is going to report on their screen 200 milliseconds later. That's a very long time to wait for a bullet, and in some cases that person would have walked already, and you miss, and then you have to shoot again and then wait. You know, there's a problem. Having a region in Cape Town means that these gaming companies are also going to have their data centers in Cape Town, which means they'll be able to launch new gaming servers in Cape Town, which means that when we play a game and I shoot you, that bullet will actually register on your own computer in about a millisecond, which is drastically faster than 200 milliseconds. Like, can you imagine the disrespect? Now, you may not notice a performance improvement when they open a new region, but that's simply because a lot of developers do a lot of magic in the background to cater for the long latency so that you, the end user, don't have to get any poor performance. So that's 3 reasons why you should care about AWS coming to Cape Town. If you're a business owner, that's more profits. If you're a gamer, that's better latency. And if you're a job seeker, more jobs, I guess. If I left out anything, make sure to leave a comment, like the video, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. This is how YouTube's gonna know that you enjoyed the video. It's literally the easiest way to support my channel. Before you leave, make sure to check out this video here. YouTube is very confident you're gonna enjoy that one. Or maybe check out this video here. If you've checked out both of these videos, click here to subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Okay, you have a safe quarantine. Bye-bye.